Hello and welcome, and in this tutorial I will show you how can we detect the faces and blur them to hide their faces in videos. So let's get started. So I will continue with my previous project, and to do the blurring effect on the faces identified in the videos, what I will do here is I will add an video processing tab, and inside that I want to do the blur faces, for example, and double click on this. So this is where I will be working. Okay, and the first thing that I want to do is a try catch, and here I can show the message exception in my message. Okay, but one thing that I would like to tell you that this is a picture box, and I can load an image from reading from here or from my using the file, but instead of directly displaying in this picture box inside my Windows form, I want to create a custom uh, user control, so that will be specifically for playing the videos. So this is how I want to do. I will just design the user control, and then I will show you the code how we can edit here and do the processing. Okay, so I just designed my user control. I have basically used this table layout and then put my trackbot here to move the frames. I will see which frame is currently playing. This one will display the current frame, and this one will display basically the maximum number of frames I have. Right now the text is showing current frame, but automatically in the code we will change. So when we click on the play button, it will start playing, and when we again press it, it will stop playing. So it will display the images in our picture box. So this is the user interface for using the custom user controls, and we will be using it inside. Instead of the picture box, I need to put it in my table layout in my Windows form. So we will see in a moment. So let us go to the forms, and in the video processing, double click on blur faces. And the first thing that I will do here is to use this open file dialog. And let's say dialog is equal to new open file dialog. And one more thing that I want to do here is to apply a filter. So the filter means I just want to read only the videos. For example, maybe MP4 or AVL videos. So we provide a description like video files. This is the description that will be displayed. Let's say star.mp4 or maybe star.avl files, for example. This is the description that will be displayed. Then you need to put a pipe, and then actual extension star.mp4 is acceptable. If we have more, so we will be doing star.avl. So whatever the file name will be, so we are representing the star, so .avl is the extension. If we don't have those, then we can also include, like, once I again put a pipe, and then if you want to see all the files, then we can also do something like that, all files, which means we are interested in all types of extension, and then again this pipe, and we can set star.star. Okay, and if we will show the dialog to the user, dialog dot show dialog equals dialog result dot okay. The user has selected some video. Then what I want to do here is, instead of displaying the video on this picture box, I just want to add my whole control in my Windows forms so that we can interact with this control as it is, whatever we want. So essentially what I will do is I need an object of this UI video player, and I just can say player equal to new video player, and I will do some changes also in my user interface player's default what we call it, the constructor, because whatever the video has been selected, I want to read that video and display it here. So I will do something in a moment. So just I'm creating the object of my user control, and then I can also do something like player.dock is equal to dock style dot fill it, so that whatever the area is available here, I want to fill all the area with my user control. And where we will add it is, actually I have a table layout. One part is here, another part is here, so I need to specify that inside table layout where I want to add. So first I will remove this picture box from my table layout and then add my video player. So, and the name of this is table layout panel 1 dot controls dot remove. So here we can provide the name of our control simply. Just when I click on that, the name of my control, as you can see, picture box 1. So I'm just telling, please remove the picture box 1 from my table layout panel. and from inside this table layout control one dot controls dot add my new control, and the new control is my player. In which location? It is in the first column and 0th row. So I have two columns, as you can see here. There are two columns. There's only one row. This is 0th column, and I want it to be in the first. So first is a column, and then row is definitely 0. And then we can do a refresh to reload it. So refresh, and that's it. But only one thing that I want is whatever the file name I have selected, I want to send inside my video player. So since I have not defined any sort of constructor here, so this one will give me definitely an error. So just I will write it here, and then I will change it over there. Dialog.file name. I want to send whichever the file has been selected by the user, so that we can load it. Okay, one thing is like this, and another thing that I just want is whenever the user clicks on this blur faces, so you can see every time we are creating a new object, this is what I don't want. I just want a singleton. So every time the user clicks, if I have already an object, I shouldn't create it. So this requires some changes in my forms. So I will do them here and then come back to these changes. So in order to make sure that at a particular time I have only one object, what I will do here, see private, and let me create a static UI video player object, and I call it instance. Okay, and instead of using this constructor to create a new object, what I will do, instead of making it public, I will make it private, so that no one is going to use it, or no one is going to call this constructor, because it is private now. So this is what I want, because I want only one object to be created at a time. So let me create another public method, public static, and UI video player, and this is returning the object of video player, and I call it get instance. That's that. And here we are passing the path, okay, of my video. And so I will say that instance is equal to, first whatever I have the instance or the object of my player, I will initialize it to null, and then underscore instance is equal to new object of that player. Okay, and I will create another method here, and I will be calling it like init dot instance dot init, and here sorry, and I will be passing this path. I will create in a moment, and then return the object. So instead of using the constructor, I will be using the get instance method here. First I will fix this one. So instead of doing this, get what was the name of your interface video player dot get instance. Okay, and this is just, it is creating, it's not important, just it is creating a user interface for us. So every time I will be using this call method, so it will set the instance to null. If there is an object, then it will create a new object and then give it to us. So that's what I wanted, and here the work is done. And now we are within the initialization. What we will do, we can ask the Visual Studios to create a method for us. Okay, let us create a method. Okay, this is private void init and a path, so there is no inside it. The first thing that I want to do is, for any object we must initialize all the components, so we will be calling this method. Okay, so once it will create our interface, all the interface objects, and properly place them. After doing that, what I will do, I have a path to a video, and what I want to do is, using that path, once I load the video, then I want to display the first frame here and keep it as it is. And once we play it, we will play the video, and then we change this track bar and we'll show the maximum or minimum. So this thing can be done here. Try. So let me do with the try and a catch and message box ex.message. And I need some global objects within this class, so I'm going to create them here. What I need is, in order to capture the video, I need the video capture object, and let me call it video capture. Sorry, video capture. Okay. And I need the information about the current frame that is being played. Let me initialize it with 0. And also total frames, let me say they are also 0, we don't know. And I will introduce something called skip. I'm just writing it like name 5. For example, if I don't need to read all the frames in sequence, so maybe I'm skipping 5 frames, so I need the 0th, then the 5th, then 10th, 15th. So I will be using, let's say I don't need to display all the frames, just I need a few frames to be skipped, so that's what I'm using. And also one thing that I need is playing status. So currently whether my frames or the video is being played or not. So these are the things that I need for use the video capture, and it's playing all other things for part of the logic. Inside my initialization, what I need is the object of my video capture. So this is the basic component that I need. So I will be using the video capture, and which video I want to read is expecting a string file name. So I'm putting the path here. So this path has been passed from the main phone. From here you can see whatever the video has been selected, I passed on to this method, and then it ultimately reached here, and I am reading it. Okay, once we have the object, we want to read the first frame, but I need to make sure if video capture equals null, then we cannot do anything. I'm going to return. I don't need these two, so let me do something like this. Okay, and we make sure that the video is there, and now I want to just read the first frame and display it here. So what I need is I need a mate. Let me call frame is equal to new mate object, and I can also calculate the total number of frames here. So I can say total number of frames is equal to, we can use an int.parse here because the property that I'm going to use is returning a double. So we will be using video capture.get capture property. Which property you want to read is the frame count. So how many frames we have, dot to string. So this one will give us a double, and we convert it into a string, and dot to string. So this one will give us the total number of frames, and then we convert it into the total frames. And if here we need to check if that current frame is less than total frames, then we will be able to read it. And again, one if condition, if video capture that which frame we want to read is the, I want to let it know that I want to read dot position of the frame, that whatever the frame you want to read, you can use this property, and I want to read the current frame. Okay, this is the frame. If it is true, it means if it has read it, then we can use the video capture dot read method, and it will read the frame and put it in my frame object. So it will read this frame number. Initially it is 0, so it will read the initial frame and put it in my frame made object. Okay, I forgot one bracket here. Okay, once we read the frame, we can easily display it in my picture box. So picture box dot image is equal to frame dot to bitmap. Okay, so this one will display the bitmap in my picture box. And one more thing that we have is we can also show the total number of frames that we have, LBL total frame, and what is the current frame, and we can also initialize our track bar and show its initial value also. Okay, so this is all done for reading the first frame, or maybe before that I can do something like here, track bar dot value is whatever the current frame has the value, and by the way, since I read the first frame, I should also be doing like current frame plus plus, because I have already read the first frame, and then we will be reading the next frame. So the initial value of what is the current value of the track bar dot minimum value will be 0, and the track bar dot max value will be the number of frames that we have. Okay, and then we can also display the whatever the name of this one, current frame, and the LBL frame count. So here we can use LBL current frame dot text is equal to current, or we can use just like track bar dot value dot to string, whatever the track bar value is, and LBL total frame count is equal to dot text is equal to total frames dot to string. Okay, and one more thing that I need here is, since we need to detect the faces, and to detect the faces I will be using HAR Cascade Classifier. So I need Cascade Classifier, I call it classifier. And did I download it here or not? I'm not sure. So I need to download the HAR classifiers file. So I don't have the HAR classifier here. So I will be doing let me add a new folder and call it data. And inside this data, I will be downloading it. And you can download the HAR Cascade classifier from the website. You can go to the OpenCV on GitHub data and in HAR Cascade, and we basically need this HAR Cascade frontal face default. So HAR Cascade, remember that it is frontal face and there are some front faces, so don't confuse it with the frontal face, human frontal face. So I'm going to download HAR Cascade frontal face default. So this is already trained model of HAR Cascade for face detection on desktop, let's say somewhere here, and then from the desktop I can grab it and put it in my Visual Studio's the location, sorry, data. So this is how I grab the HAR Cascade, and then I can write here two more lines, string face path, path to this file. I can say that path dot get, this is not the path dot get, this is not the small one, I just want the path, the biggest path dot get full path. Okay, and since you can see when we debug it, it will be in the debug folder and outside the bin folder and then outside. So I will be using something like this, dot slash means go out of this current folder, and once more go out. and then inside our data folder, so here is the data folder, then I need to copy this name har cascade. I'm just copying it from this .xml file. Okay, so this is, I'm going to read it, and now I can use the classifier to create an object is equal to new classifier object, and this is expecting also a file for the hair cascade, so face path. Okay, so initialization is done. We did some setting for the initial and the maximum value of this drag bar. We read the current, and we did not do anything here, and it will display the initial what we call it, the frame. Let me try it and see if it is working or not. So let me do a face blur, and then from the videos I'm going to select, for example, a video. So this is what exactly I wanted. So as you can see that I replaced my picture box with my user interface control, and it displayed the current frame, and this one is saying my current frame. Since we did not write any logic, and we have 762 frames in this short video. Maybe we can open another video, for example, Sebastian Zaim University's, our university's video, and this one has 2090. And then now we will write logic in next part.